Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 276. Anthony here.
And Rich, I'm back again. Been a
Rich,
while.
it's been a while. I was telling Jack last week, you guys were kind of banned from the show for about 6 months because of what you did on episode 250.
Yeah, you guys are jerks like that.
Yeah, you know what? We have the power. We have all the power. It's like Nintendo, right? But then obviously Jack filled in for Larry last week while Larry was, running around Texas for WrestleMania. And Larry conveniently this week has not been feeling well. I think he's still recovering from WrestleMania. So Rich, thank you so much for stepping in. All is forgiven.
Oh, now you forgive me, huh?
Yeah, well, all is forgiven, because we needed you. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's how it works out, right?
Yeah, that works. I'll take it.
Yeah, but how have you been?
Good. I found this this hashtag movement that apparently started last week, where it's just ice for Jack.
Just ice for Jack. Okay.
Just ice for Jack. So you should check it out. Hashtag just ice for Jack. Apparently it's catching on. And I don't know, man. All I know is that something happened, and he needs ice.
He needs ice. Well, yeah, that you know what? I don't have ice, but I have some bottled water. Yeah, I guess I could freeze this for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you could freeze that, throw that in the freezer, take it out tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I also, I did invite Jack to join the two of us as well. So you guys can, bully me for a change, but I think he's still recovering from last week.
Yeah, probably.
He's a sensitive soul. No, but in all seriousness, no. Yeah. So Jack unfortunately couldn't join us. I thought it would have been a cool dynamic to have the three of us on, talking games and stuff. But we'll have that. I'm looking forward to one day actually having a foursome. We'll have a nice foursome. Yeah, let's get crazy. Larry, me, you, Jack. It can get wild. One of those things like what happens in Vegas type of thing. But with
am I allowed to tell my wife about this or no?
Absolutely not.
Fair enough. So like you said, like Vegas, what happens what happens on the podcast stays on the podcast.
Yeah, and on YouTube and everywhere else that we put it. So
fair enough.
Fair enough. But this week, I know we were kind of trying to figure out what kind of topic to come up with, and the coolest thing about like when I'm not sure what to talk about is like we have a little back and forth and we try we usually figure it out. And I thought this was an interesting conversation for us to have. And I'm sure with Larry as well, because we've been Rich, we've been gaming together since we were kids. Since we went to grade school together. So we've got a long history of gaming. You actually predate Larry.
We've done the couch gaming and we've done the online gaming now.
Yeah. So we've absolutely run the gamut. So I thought it would be an interesting thing, especially because we do a lot of online gaming now for obvious reasons. I'm 3,000 miles away from you.
Listen, you're Tupac and I'm Biggie. I get it.
Is that what it is? Wait, does that mean we're going to shoot each other, or what?
I mean, we do that every Thursday.
That is true. Well, sometimes, but not really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for those of you that don't know, Rich, Jack, and I, occasionally Larry, we game together once a week, mostly on PS4, sometimes on Switch, depending on what games we're in the mood for. And we've started to branch out on the games that we do play. Like we were very, very specific for a while.
Very long time now.
Yeah, with our game of choice being Rocket League.
Whew.
Or bumper car soccer, as we call it.
Bumper car soccer, as Jack likes to call it.
Yeah, it's bumper car soccer. And we've been having a lot of fun with that because the Rocket Pass is always cool, like, changing your car up and things like that.
But the other thing is, and it is one of the very few games right now, and kind of jumping into like what you and I were going to talk about is, it's so Jack and I, obviously we're on the East Coast and we're just a few miles away from each other. So we get together quite often to be able to play games. And then it's like, it's one of the few games where he and I can both be on the same PlayStation at the same time, and still be able to play like, and have like you and the other people we play with can kind of join in. And it's you know, it's so frustrating is the fact that there's so few games that just really let you do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, couch co-op, or let's say that's more specific, like couch co-op online gaming is, yeah, it's a rarity these days. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how many games actually allow it. Like you said, it's like we basically figure it out through trial and error. So it's like, you know, you can do it with you can do it with Rocket League, but I don't think you can do it with like Dead by Daylight or like
Right.
other online games.
But as always, Nintendo's kind of the gold star.
Yeah, Nintendo does have the gold star because they allow you to do both.
Right.
So you can Mario Kart together. You can do couch co-op Mario Kart. You can do couch co-op online Mario Kart, or just straight up online Mario Kart. Mario Party, same thing. So yeah, so Nintendo's kind of I mean, when you go back through the years, co-op has been a huge thing for Nintendo, you know, going all the way back to the NES. Like, you know, thinking back that far, it's like, can you remember some of your favorite co-op games on the original Nintendo?
Oh man, you know which one you remember. One of them was two of them, I should say, because I'm pretty sure these were played on my birthday way back in the day when we used to have the sleepovers.
I always remember your birthday sleepover. I always do. That was like the best.
Those were great. The first one was always Off-Road.
Oh, I loved Off-Road.
Yeah.
And you know, and when we say couch co-op, we also talk about couch competitive. So just basically local multiplayer games.
Right. So there was Off-Road. I just remember, like, once again, because that was like around the Satellite had just come out. And I don't remember who was it, because it wasn't me who had the Satellite. Somebody else had the Satellite.
I don't remember who. It wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it. I'm drawing a blank. But regardless, it's like we would have that, and I just remember like the four of us all sitting around and playing, you know, Off-Road, and just having a blast with that. And then the other one that I always loved was the volleyball game. I think it was Kings of the Beach or something like that.
Oh, Kings of the Beach, yeah. I remember Kings of the Beach. I was never very good at that one.
No, listen, we were terrible at the game.
Yes.
But it was like one of the very few games that was 4-player that allowed everybody to kind of, just when we would have a party, it was like we would swap in and out, and just everybody would have fun with it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember, again, we've talked about it before too, caveman games, which we had, there was no reason for us to play that game as much as we did. It's not a very good game. But the fact that everybody could play, you know, you would still alternate in the game, because it was kind of like the Olympics for cavemen. Like the Olympic Games. So we would take turns, but still, it was just a lot of fun to play it. California Games always comes to mind too.
Oh God, yeah.
California Games. We used to play that ad nauseum. I was always good with the hacky sack in that one.
Yeah, that was one of the better ones. I remember the skateboarding one I was terrible at.
I couldn't do the skateboarding one very well, and the surfing one I always struggled with.
Oh, the surfing was terrible.
Yeah, the surfing was bad. But yeah, California Games was one of them too. That was really cool. I don't know if you remember, and again, having the Satellite, the 4-player plugin was just awesome. One game that probably most people either write off, or you kind of have to be a specific fan of horror movies to enjoy. And it was surprisingly a 4-player co-op, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Nightmare on Elm Street game, which was really weird as a 4-player co-op game, because you were all on the same screen. So when you had 4 characters on the same side-scrolling screen, it was very crowded. And you all had to stay within the same screen, because if you went off screen, you kind of died. But just the idea of having that 4-player, like a 4-player co-op game, even all the way back then, it was just really interesting, because a lot of them, again, competitive is one thing, but co-op, an actual couch co-op game, and I'm sure there are plenty, but that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I can't think of any other co-op one where you had to sit down and play together.
Yeah.
And I just remember like it became like it was difficult on when you were outside on like the street. But I
Mhm.
just remember when you would go into the houses and it became a lot more platforming.
Yes.
And it was like impossible doing that
Yep.
four players.
Oh, I just thought of one. Gauntlet.
Ah,
Gauntlet,
Wizard need food.
the ultimate co-op game, right?
Yeah.
I love that game, and still to this day have never beaten it. It's just 100
Is
levels.
there an
long, I
ending
guess.
on it?
Well, there are 100 levels, so
Really?
yeah. It's funny. All these years, I never even bothered to look on YouTube to see if Gauntlet has like an actual ending. I'm assuming if it does, it's very simple because they all are.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Gauntlet is another co-op that comes to mind. A competitive one that comes to mind when you brought up Super Off-Road. I always loved Super Sprint. Do you remember Super Sprint?
Oh yeah.
I used to play that. I used to play that at my pizzeria all the time around the corner.
Mhm.
They had Super Sprint, and I would play that all the time. But then when it came out for NES, I loved it. I just played that nonstop.
That was the one where you had to collect the wrenches to upgrade your car, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, and the arcade I remember had three. It had three wheels, so you can have three players,
Mhm.
and then there was always the fourth car, which was the computer. So
Right.
that would always magically beat you once you got to a certain level. Like you just couldn't beat.
Do you know what was one that everybody loved and I hated, and I've even tried to go back and replay it. When I say recently could be anytime within the last 10 years. So
Okay.
take that as you will.
Well, we're older.
But,
We can say that. Recent is the last
yeah.
decade. Yeah.
RC Pro Am.
Oh no, I can't go back to that one.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it back then.
No, but
Not my
I knew
favorite.
so many people that did. And I was always like, am I missing something? Am I not getting it? Because I never ever liked it.
Yeah, no. I definitely was not a fan of that one. Yeah, that one just never worked for me.
Nope.
So, and then of course the other either couch competitive, couch co-op, whatever way you want to put it, sports games. Even on the NES, like I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I always associate Bases Loaded 2 with you.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know, unless maybe I'm remembering it correctly. One of us played Bases Loaded 2 all the time.
Mhm.
I thought it was you.
Probably was me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a bit more into the baseball games, so I did enjoy those.
You definitely were, and I was not.
You're gonna do what I want to do, and that's it.
Yes.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go forward a generation now on the consoles.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with you got to go with the NHLs and the Maddens.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, now you're jumping, or you're talking about like Genesis, like NHL '94, like the sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, I used to like, because once again, going co-op, I remember sitting down and playing like in high school, like, you after you got tired of beating the out of each other.
Language.
I know, I realized that as I said it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
As we were beating the poop out of each other, then what eventually wound up happening was, it's like then you would just team up together and play against the computer.
Yeah, I remember that. That was always fun. And just sports games in general. Like I can run through a list of them, and that would across every console.
Yeah.
The ones I remember most fondly sports wise was obviously NHL '94. That one like comes right off the bat. Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl. Played that to death. But on my Dreamcast, NHL 2K and NFL 2K, I played those to death on there. I don't know. I absolutely loved those games.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then friggin' EA came in and killed that franchise.
But before, you know what though? Before they killed the franchise, there was was it EA that did the 2K? They did the 2K series, right? Because wasn't it NFL 2K5?
Yes.
That is considered still like the best football game ever made, or arguably the best football.
Okay, so my friend Matt and I, we still have our original saves from basic from way back when that game first came out on we've got still our PS4 memory cards. And I mean, obviously we don't get a chance to play it as much anymore. He's got a, you know, he's got his kid, and just basically work is just keeps both of us busy. But we still go back and we will still play our season that we have. And which is funny because there was for a long time the season was in the future, and now it's way in the past.
Well, of course, you waited a little bit too long to go back to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, that was such a fun one. I really enjoyed, like, going back, like you were saying, on the Dreamcast. I loved the 2K series. They were phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I think the 2K series might have been one of the very few games on the NHL games. It was probably one of the very few NHL games that I played an entire season in.
Really?
Because after a while, like I would always start a season and I would play for a while, and then I would just want to get to the playoffs. So then I would just automate the rest of it and then just play in the playoffs. I think that the two that I remember playing all the way through was NHL 2K and, oddly enough, NHL 96 on my PC.
Really?
Yeah, because at the time, like, you know, once I got a PC, and I don't remember the first PC I had. I don't remember if it was I don't think it was a Dell. It might have been a Compaq or whatever, an HP maybe. But when I got my first PC, all of a sudden it was cool. It was like, oh, I'm going to buy games for my computer because it's going to be better to play on the computer. And I bought NHL 96 on the PC because, one, I wanted to play a game on the PC, a hockey game on the PC. And the other thing was, I think at the time there was online support. Like you could actually play online if you wanted to. And I remember trying to do it with Anthony Testaverde. And I just remember it not working very well. So, because back then you were playing through dial-up.
Right, 56K.
Yeah, so that sucker just wasn't working. But yeah, so I, like, those are the two that I remember playing full seasons through. The rest I don't ever remember getting all the way through. I would just automate and then move on and be like, all right, playoffs, I'm going to win the Stanley Cup. And I always did.
It was always so funny to me because, you know, like, to me, going back to like what you were saying, Madden 99, I still remember getting Madden 99 on the PS1. And I played that game to death because that was the first game that I remember playing that had franchise mode.
Oh,
and
franchise mode, yep.
Loved franchise mode. Just being able to like keep track of the players, who are you going to sign? It was so much fun. And I remember I used to actually have a notebook where, because at that point they didn't really keep track of your stats and what have you outside of the season. So like what I would do is I would keep track of how many like touchdowns, like did my quarterback throw for, how many yards did he throw for each game.
Remember when all of that mattered, where it's like, no, it's important for me to keep track of these things.
Yeah.
Do you still have any of those notebooks?
No, I wish I did.
Shame.
That would have been awesome.
But yeah, but with the sports games though, like just going back to our actual topic, because we both played them like crazy, those were like the easiest games to play with somebody when they came over, because it's like, hey, you want to play video games, it's like, all right, let's play NHL. I'll pick a team, you pick a team, and play against each other. Want to play NFL, same thing. Baseball, same thing. They're just easily designed, for multiplayer, which is great. So, and then the other ones I wanted to bring up really quickly were wrestling games were the same way. And being huge wrestling fans, obviously, and the N64 was like the golden era for wrestling games. So WrestleMania 2000, WCW, NWO, No Mercy, then the SmackDown games on PlayStation, like all of those games were just so easy to play with each other. And by the way, eventually, like the WWE games had a GM mode in some of them, general manager mode, where it's basically like your franchise mode in football, where you were in charge of a show and you drafted who you wanted and you followed them and all that stuff. It was just super fun. And
wasn't there also a career mode in one of them too? I think in SmackDown.
Oh yeah, there are career modes in a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them
Yeah.
have career modes. And in fact, I think there's a GM mode in the new game that just came out. Like they actually
Hmm.
brought it back because people loved it and then they just got rid of it.
Yeah.
But again, super easy to play wrestling games as a co-op thing, especially on the N64 to me is still like one of the best multiplayer consoles ever made. It was literally I want to say it's the first console to have 4 controller ports in it.
Hmm.
You didn't need to buy anything to extend it. I could be mistaken, but that's the first one I remember. Or the
No,
first one
that's the
the
first
first
one
one
I
that
remember.
the first one that I own. And there were a ton of multiplayer games on that. Obviously, your Mario Karts, Mario Party, which started on N64. You just had so many games, so couch co-op was encouraged, on those systems. Um, I feel like when you started getting to, and this is just my opinion, and it could also be at the time I was getting older, going to college, starting to work full time. But when PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast for a little bit, but then GameCube started to come out, even though GameCube had the 4 ports. And maybe it was just because of my age at the time and I was actually getting out into the real world. That's when I started to lose multiplayer. Like the couch co-op thing started to go away and I was just playing solo for a while.
Really, because I had a different experience with that.
And it was,
There we go. So once again, so I've known Jack now for quite a long time.
yeah.
And me, Jack, and a couple of people that we knew together, it was around that time where, like, I can't tell you, we used to be like up until 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be playing like Super Monkey Ball 2, the party modes
Mm,
that were in Super Monkey Ball 2. Another one was we used to love playing NFL Blitz, but not like the traditional version of NFL Blitz, where like you're actually just throwing the ball, like normal
yeah.
football rules. There was a code that if somebody on both teams put it in, it was called fumbleitis, where every single time you got tackled, you fumbled the
You
ball.
fumbled the ball. Oh gosh, that's awesome.
And it was just pure insanity. And we used to just, like, once again, that was another one of those. We would play for hours, just like all of us sitting down, because you could do 2v2 in the NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
And like, it was just great because it would just, you would get hit, boom, the ball would fall down. And then it would be like everybody chasing after the ball. And it was just fun.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to,
Yeah, because like college for me is where I think things started to shift a little bit. And I'm not going to say I didn't do a multiplayer, I just didn't do it that much. Like most of my multiplayer experiences were pretty much with wrestling games at the time because wrestling games were just it for me. And I also started getting into more like RPGs and things like that. So single player games kind of took over for a while. And then I moved to the opposite coast and it actually that it made me very grateful, and maybe we'll switch gears here because we talked a lot about couch co-op.
well, before we switch gears, I got something else I wanted to say.
Go for it.
Okay. So there was me and a buddy of mine back in like high school and especially through college. What we would do is we would play like multiplayer games, but what we would do is we would end up playing them in ways that they normally would not be played. So for example,
Okay.
one of them would be like I want to say it was Ridge Racer, but I could be wrong on this. It was a racing game, and one of the levels was it was San Francisco. So of course,
Okay.
you got this massive hill that you're driving down. So what we would do is we wouldn't actually race the game, like race in the game. We would race to the top of the hill, and then we would always each of us would take turns, basically like driving off the hill and trying to purposefully crash, and we would rate each other's crashes as to like
Nice.
how epic it was. And we used to do that for hours, like just taking turns where it'd be like nope, and we would call it, instead of hitting retry, we would call it retry. I mean, it's just like one of those stupid things that just kind of like,
Yeah.
you between you and your friends. And then another one was so my friend discovered Persona. Uh,
Oh, okay.
on the PS1. And it's so funny to me because how Persona has become such a huge game now.
Yes.
Back then it was like this, little title that nobody really knew. But it was funny because that was another one of those where we would like eventually my friend John got to one of the casinos, and we would just literally spend hours in the casinos just like gambling money away.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the casino, right? It would just take up all your time. I started doing that in GTA 5.
So what did you do?
No, I would just log in and go to the casino.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, because I got tired of doing the missions. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do the missions anymore. I'm just going to go to the casino. And then I would just sit in the casino and play like blackjack and stuff. It was just like, all right, that works.
It became a little old lady.
I became a little old lady. Yeah. Well, no, I didn't play the slot machines.
Okay.
I didn't play the slot machines that much. But yeah, so yeah, and that type of stuff is always cool too. When you find weird things that you can do in the game with your friends. But again, after a while, couch co-op started to fade away because the internet became a big thing. All your systems were able to go online, and this is
companies
where
greedy.
Companies always get greedy, right? And that's why what I was saying is like around the time that I actually moved across the country, was around the time we got the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Wii, and then all of a sudden, to me, those were the real systems where gaming really started to go online, where you can sign in and play online with other people. And part of my sanity, at least when I first moved to LA, because when I first moved here, I didn't know anybody. So I came out solo, and obviously the way that I kept in touch with everybody on the East Coast was through Facebook, and through my 360. So I spent a lot of my, my first few years in LA playing Left 4 Dead with my East Coast group, which was Larry and Verdi and Frank. So we would play that. And then obviously just from there, that's where my real experience with online gaming kind of took off. Like I honestly or at least the online multiplayer type of stuff or online co-op. Fast forward to today, obviously it's just a norm.
Yeah.
It's like you sign on to your console, and it's like, and if your friends are on, it's like, oh, hey, what's going on? You guys want to play something? And then you jump into like a myriad of games,
right?
At which we do now. Do you remember the first real online like co-op game you played?
Oh yeah, totally. Because it was the PS2, and so one of my buddies, he lived in Queens, and I was all the way down in southern Brooklyn at that point. And so getting together was always a pain in the butt. So I went and bought the adapter. So I got
the PS2 network.
Yeah. Yep. The network adapter. And the two games that I remember playing most online, the first one I'll say was Madden. And I was so excited to play Madden online, and it was terrible. I hated playing it online. A lot of people would just rage quit.
Nice.
I'm like, wow, okay. But the other one was the one that we bought it for was Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, okay.
And
that's a good one.
There were many nights he and I would be online just playing that game and just having a blast. Because that was the one that incorporated the space battles into it, where you could actually pilot the ships. You had to pilot them into like one of the larger ships. And then what was great about that was then you had to get out and fight people on the ship. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. Star Wars games have a lot of good online. Well, now they have a lot of good online multiplayer. And I think what's the one that I just recently bought? And it's not a new one. I didn't buy it. I think Fallen Order was Fallen Order the latest one besides the Lego game that just came out?
I think so.
Yeah, but Squadrons.
Which, by the way, if you want, I can review the Lego game if you want.
Oh, you bought it already?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I actually just bought the I actually just bought the Lego Harry Potter collection on my PS5 because it's on sale right now. It's like 80% off with
Yep.
the current sale. So I was like, okay, for $4, I'm like, I'll download it. I didn't realize it was remastered. I don't know how you remaster a Lego game, but hey. But I remember that game being the most fun. And what I also loved about it was that was actually a couch co-op. You can play that 2-player couch co-op. Most Lego games, I think you can.
Yes, which is funny that you say that, because going with my wife and I play the Lego games together, and that's why we bought the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Yep.
And before this, because the Skywalker Saga got delayed how many times?
Yep.
Before it finally came out, and we were kind of like, well, what's a game we could play? And then she and I really enjoyed the Harry Potter ones when we played them on the 360, and we were like, you know what? Like you said, $4, we picked them up
for $4. Why not grab it? I think somewhere over here I have my Harry Potter one. It's hiding, but yeah, the Lego games. The Lego games are awesome for couch co-op. They really are, because they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably one of the, I mean, I don't want to say it's one of the few games. I'm sure there are a lot of games that have couch co-op, but it's the one that I remember the most, like for current gaming or closer to current gaming, that's couch co-op. To me, everything else is like online. Because when I think about what I play now, it's Rocket League, it's Dead by Daylight. It used to be Friday the 13th. I don't really play that anymore, but like those games to me, I mean, they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. But they are specific, especially all three of those games. They are specifically made for online gaming. I know that Friday the 13th had a bit of a story mode that you can do, or an offline mode that you can do.
I tried it. It was horrendous.
Yeah, I did not enjoy it either. I mean, but like games are specifically now just built to play online with other people or against other people.
Fortnite
is a huge one that's like that. There was another one I was just going to throw out there that just
Overwatch.
You got me into Diablo for a while.
Yeah. Oh, Diablo that was another one that my wife and I were really super excited about. We played 3. We actually played through the whole story.
Nice.
And then she and I were both super excited when they decided they were going to remaster Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only way you can do multiplayer on that is via like online.
Yep.
And it was
you can't couch co-op. Yeah,
which is what she and I really enjoyed about with 3 was the couch co-op.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because like we would get together and play, like you two would be in the same room on the same console. I would be here in LA, and then Jack would be wherever Jack is. But it was a lot of fun playing that. And the fact that it has that versatility, it makes it even more, it just makes it more covetable, because a lot of games don't carry that versatility. I'm trying to think of like what other online games have we been playing lately? I know we just all downloaded Golf with Your Friends, which is
Uno. How could you forget Uno?
Oh, Uno. Yeah. Like I know we joke about it all the time. It's like we all have PS4s and PS5s. I go, and then what game do we play together? Uno.
Or the free poker game.
Or Prominence Poker, which is another one, which is just a free poker game that you can play. And sometimes we have 6 of us on there. We fill a table and we just have a good night. It's the same, it's the same thing as playing in person, but we can't all be together. So, and obviously that is the huge benefit of online co-op, online multiplayer, whatever you want to call it, is that it doesn't matter where you live in the world. We can always get together and we can always game.
Yeah.
And to me, that is, to me, that's awesome, because obviously it helps me keep in touch with all of you guys on the East Coast, but it also helps me keep in touch with people like, when you can't get together in person, where it's like, no, you know what? I can't, I have to take care of stuff at home. I can't get out. I was like, but
I have COVID.
I have COVID. Yeah, obviously online gaming, right, has become the gold standard of the pandemic, that and Animal Crossing, which everybody seemed to play during the pandemic.
By the way, another fun one that I remember back in the day on the 360. So I remember like my apartment was the place where everybody would come to,
Mhm,
and we would do a LAN party where one of my buddies would bring his 360, and
mhm.
I'd have my 360 in the living room. His 360 would be in the bedroom, and we would have, what's it called, a Switch, not Nintendo Switch,
Yep,
um, connecting the two, and then we would have that connected to the internet. So
yep.
at first it started off where it would just be like, because there would be like seven of us playing, and we would just play free for all against each other. But then eventually we were like, wait a second, we can go online and we can play against other people. So
Mhm.
all of a sudden it switched from just all of us playing like Halo 3 against each other to playing Halo 3, seven of us, where you've basically
Against
got
everybody
your own
else.
team
Mhm.
against everybody else. And we used to have so much fun with that.
That's awesome.
But now even Halo doesn't do that anymore. It's like
Oh, no?
Infinite. Yeah, Halo. From I haven't downloaded it, but Infinite I heard is single player only. In terms of like you can no more couch multiplayer on it.
Yeah. That's sad. But again, but also it's kind of where gaming has gone now. I mean, with the exception of Nintendo, again, Nintendo I feel like Nintendo will always have that couch gaming.
Yeah,
I really do think they always will. But I think online, and it could be, and again, it could be our limited views. It could be the games that we choose to play. And I'm sure, everybody out there who listens or watches, it's like chime in, games that we don't play we'd love to hear about it, that you couch co-op with, or that you just online with, or you do both, like hybrids.
yeah,
Would be nice. But yeah, and I think it comes down to, I guess, what you grew up with, like kids today, not to say it like I'm an 80-year-old man, but it's like, but kids today whose first consoles were like at 360 and on, have basically grown up in the online only, or mostly online gaming
yeah,
community. Whereas we had a good 20 plus years of being in the same room, playing against each other, with each other, you know. So we've kind of had the best of both worlds.
right.
Now, of the two worlds, do you have a preference?
I prefer couch.
You prefer the
To me,
couch?
I prefer couch. I mean, obviously, I would love to be able to be on the same coast with you and be able to play.
Yep.
But given the choice of playing online or playing, with being in the same room with somebody, like to me, it was like to me, it was always all right. Let's go get dinner, and we would order a pizza, or like we would all go to like this one pizza place out in Queens or something like that. We would go have our pizza, and then we would all come back to whoever's house or apartment or whatever,
Yep.
and then we would just sit there and just game. And it's like you get your like 2 liter bottle of whatever Mountain Dew or whatever it is you're
Oh God,
drinking.
all the soda we used to go through. Holy cow.
Uh-huh.
I still have no idea how I managed to quit soda after all of the soda we used to drink. Oh man.
You managed to quit? I'm still addicted.
I gave up soda 16 years ago.
Not me.
Have not had a drop.
Damn.
Yeah, again, you know what? I mean, I blame the fact that we weren't getting together anymore.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it's your fault I don't drink soda. But no, but again, noted about the couch co-op. Obviously, like for me, there's always going to be there's online gaming to me right now is really special because of the connections I get to keep. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like I connect with you, I connect with Larry, I connect with Anthony, I connect with all of my friends through online gaming, or all of my friends I used to play with in person. So I love online gaming. I do love online gaming. Despite that, though, I agree with you 100%. There's nothing like being in the same room, playing a game together. Even if you don't go out and get that pizza, ordering pizza in, just making a night of it, and just laughing, and me being the ultra competitive person I am, being super competitive with everybody I'm playing against because I always had to win. But just the camaraderie of it all.
Yeah.
To me, it's irreplaceable, and I'm very happy that I've had those experiences growing up, and again, and it could be a nostalgia thing too, but nothing replaces that for me.
Well, it going something
Yeah.
that you just made me think of two things. First one is, how did we not mention Rock Band?
Oh, geez. That is the ultimate in-person game. Although
Yes,
you can play it online.
right.
You can't
But
play it online with each other, but it does not compare.
no, to having four people and hearing the banging of the plastic and what have you.
Yes. Yeah.
But
My friends here in LA, I think like my closest group of friends here that I've had since I first got here, we bonded over Rock Band. Like that's literally how our group of pretty much how our group of friends came together. Rock Band was our glue. And I'm not kidding you. We played that game for like over a decade. We didn't care that it wasn't, it wasn't the thing to play anymore. We would get together regularly and just play. We used to play at our job.
yeah,
Like Friday night, everybody went home. We went into a conference room and I hooked up Rock Band and we just had a blast.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, oh man, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, how could we not mention Rock Band?
And then the other one was to give you an idea of just like fun things that we used to do to try to just be able to get stupid things to work, like being able to couch multiplayer when you couldn't. So back a number of years ago, Trish wound up having to go down to like she basically was doing a long-term residency in a school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have a couple of weeks where I kind of was just home by myself. So of course, what did I do? I grabbed all the guys and said, "Hey, come on over." So what we wound up doing was everybody brought their PlayStation 4s over.
Mm-hmm.
And I had two TVs. So basically, one of the guys had had brought his smaller TV, another guy brought his smaller TV, and basically we all just set up between my living room and my dining room. All four of the PlayStation 4s were all hooked up, and all the TVs were hooked up. And this was around the time when Heists had just come out on GTA 5. And here we are just running all these heists. And that was one of those, I remember, like there was one night, I think we played from like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure we went all the way until like 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and seeing that there was a way where you actually you made an online only game work in person.
Yeah.
But look at the work that it takes. You need to everybody has to bring their PlayStation. Everybody's got to bring a TV if you don't have enough TVs. So,
yep.
But that is awesome. That's an awesome memory to have.
Yeah. It was fun. We had a great time doing that. Me and one of the other guys, we were the chaos. So it's like we would always take the sticky bombs as we were trying to drive to one of the places that we had to go do a mission at. And we'd be throwing sticky bombs onto cars and blowing them up as we were driving.
That's awesome. Wow. All right. Very cool. Well, I guess that's it. That wraps up our topic for the week. But again, anybody out there, who listens, who watches us on YouTube or whatever, we'd love to hear from you about the games that you guys played, either couch co-op, online, like or if you've done both, like which way you prefer, which games you preferred. Would love to hear that, because I would love to hear about games that I didn't play as a co-op or either couch or online. That would be a really cool game for all of us to play. So we'd love to hear from you guys about that.
And also it gives a great chance for everybody to share. It's like, how many times do you Google like good couch multiplayer games, and you always get like the Mario parties and the Mario Karts, and there's like those little nuggets that kind of just slip through the crack.
Yeah, there are definitely some gems out there that like other people I'm sure played like nonstop, that I don't know about, that you don't know about. So I would love to hear from everybody. So please chime in on this one. I think that it was a great topic actually for us to discuss, because like I said in the beginning, we've been playing together for, we've been playing games together for over 30 years. So, and here's to another 30 more. Um,
60-year-olds, and we're going to be sitting there and be like, I want to beat your ass.
60 and 30 years. I don't. Well, you need to
70. That's right. Wow.
You need to do math. You need to learn your math again.
70. We're going to be 70. Wow. Mid-70s almost.
No. I got a plan for us though. I think we just take over like an assisted living facility, and then we just hook up all our stuff, and that's just what we do.
You realize that by the time we get there, that's what's exactly is going to happen.
That's what we're going to do. That's it. They're going to be yelling at us to go to bed at 9 o'clock. We're just going to be turning on our consoles.
Yep.
You know, at that point we'll be at I think we'll be at the PlayStation like 30, and people still won't be able to buy the PS5. So, so aside from that, Rich, I just had some quick news hits I wanted to throw at you.
Let's hear.
Just some fun stuff that I found. First off, this is an interesting one, but apparently Coca-Cola is launching a new soft drink. And it is called the limited edition Bite Coca-Cola. It is what they're calling a pixel flavored drink.
Pixel flavored?
Yeah. So basically they've created a flavor and they're naming it Pixel. So if you want to know what a pixel tastes like, buy yourself a Coca-Cola Bite, BYTE.
So kind of related, but not really.
Yeah.
I had the Starlight version of Coke this week.
And how was it?
Horrible. It's like somebody took a birthday cake and jammed it into my Coke.
So a carbonated birthday cake?
Yes. And I had the Coke Zero. I had the Zero version of it, and it was still so saccharine. It was like, oh, this is terrible.
Ooh, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck tasting the Pixel one. I won't be tasting it since I don't drink soda.
I'll try it. I'll let you know. I'll review it on the show.
Yep. And let's see. Square Enix recently announced they are celebrating the 20th anniversary this year of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. So 20 years of Kingdom Hearts. So what did they announce? Kingdom Hearts 4 is on the way. So we're getting into the Kingdom Hearts. All that means to me is I really need to go back and play Kingdom Hearts because I beat the first one. I got stuck on Chain of Memories, and then I did what I always do. I didn't move on to any of the other games. I refused to do it until I beat the other one. So I have all of the Kingdom Hearts games, and I just need to play through them. So far, I've only finished the first one.
Trish and I finished the first one, and then we got about halfway through the second one during COVID, and we kind of gave up on it.
Any reason why?
Witcher.
Okay, that's a reason.
Yeah.
There you go. So Kingdom Hearts 4 is on the way, which means there'll be like 30 new collections you can buy for that.
And a lot of people cosplaying.
And a lot more cosplay. Absolutely. Some new N64 games are coming to the Switch Online expansion pack if you have them.
Do we know anybody who still has that, or
the expansion pack? Larry has it.
Larry has it.
Larry has the expansion pack. The problem I keep hearing about playing is that you need an N64 controller to play N64 games on the Switch Online because it's just hard to navigate it with the Switch controllers. But maybe you can. So they recently announced Mario Golf and Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, and Pokemon Snap all coming to the expansion pack. There's another game coming out exclusive to Japan called Custom Robo and Custom Robo 2. I don't know those games. It sounds like you customize a Robo Mech.
Cool.
So there you go. Some great news this weekend for Sonic the Hedgehog. I know Larry saw the movie. I did not see the movie this past weekend, but it looks like Sonic 2 is going to be roughly making about 65 million in opening weekend, which is huge. I loved the first one. I thought
the first one was great.
I thought the first one was great. Right now they're estimating 60 to 65, around 65. Maybe it'll beat that. Again, we're recording this over the weekend, so the official numbers aren't out. But great news. I'm planning to go see it next weekend. So hopefully, actually next week, Larry and I may have a spoiler-free review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, no, we'll be good to that.
And then a couple other things really quickly. House of the Dead, they released a remake of that recently. It's on the Switch eShop, so you can pick that up. I know we've mentioned that before, but I wanted to throw that out there. Something random I saw on the news bits this week. Some company, and I believe their name is Columbus Circle, Japanese manufacturer Columbus Circle, decided to make a new Super Nintendo console, but they made it out of a toaster.
You sent me this.
I sent you this, yeah.
Yes.
They released a kit that lets you create a compatible machine to play Super Famicom games on a toaster.
That's random.
Random, weird, but at the same time, when you think about it, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, toasters have the, you put the toast in and you drop it down. It's like same, just drop down your
controller down there,
drop your game in there, and off you go. I mean, but actually, what it is like the one of the toaster slots you put the game in. The other toaster slot is for your controllers. You hook up your controllers too. So, look, you know what? It's really fun.
What happens if you play your game too long?
It burns.
Yeah,
it just burns. Completely burns. So yeah, so there's your SNES toaster. And then a really quick thing, Nintendo Life had an article, and I just thought I would share this. Since we were talking about co-op games, they just put a list up of the best Nintendo Switch couch co-op games.
Ooh.
So just to run through them really quickly, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is a co-op. My biggest, I bought that game, and my biggest issue with it, the camera was just so bad. It was hard to play. Because I love the Ultimate Alliance.
I tried.
Games. Yeah.
And we gave up on it too.
Yeah, because I tried playing it with friends, and like somebody would be off screen, and you just you couldn't find, you'd have to go back and get them because they just were off screen. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which I never played. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, which I've seen people play, and it's actually really fun. Rocket League, of course. There's a game called Crawl. It's a dungeon crawling hack and slash. Probably something we should look into. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Love that game.
Love that game.
Love that game. It's so much fun. Enter the Gungeon, which I think I have on PS5. Or
I have it on the 4.
Yeah, I have it. I bought it on the 4. I have it on my 5 now.
Yeah.
But Enter the Gungeon is also a really fun kind of dungeon crawling, a little gauntlet-like to me.
Yep.
Minecraft, of course. Then there's a bunch of games I've never played, like Death Squared, Trine Enchanted Edition.
Okay, so Trish and I have been playing the Trines.
How is it?
Fun.
Okay,
they're fun. It's like simple little puzzles. Very linear, but just you get 3 different characters that you get to play as, and you can play 3-player multiplayer with it.
Oh, that's cool.
And like one person's an archer, another is a wizard, and another is a knight, and you have to use everybody's individual powers to kind of overcome the obstacles.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
We've only gotten through the first one, but I've heard by the time you get to the 4th one, they really master the game mechanics. Okay. And I mean, I'll tell you, Trish and I have been having a blast with it. So
I might have to pick those up then. So Trine is another couch co-op. It just made me think of another. When you were explaining it, it reminded me of Golden Axe. I used to love playing Golden Axe. Rayman Legends is another one. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. Another one. They have a really long list here, but I just wanted to shout out a few of them. There was another. One of the last things I want to talk about, and then we'll wrap it up. And again, it was another co-op. Xbox 360, PS3, when they released the Simpsons arcade game and the X-Men arcade game.
Yeah.
You want to talk about games I've always wanted in my living room? Those are 2 of them, especially the X-Men one. Being able to play that with friends. I mean, that game ate up so many quarters in my lifetime, but just having that on my 360 and just playing that, gold, absolute gold.
And well, what are all of us? What have we all pre-ordered? The Cowabunga edition.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga edition. Again, we didn't talk about those earlier either. And that one's going to have online co-op. So we're going to be playing through all of those.
Exactly.
which is awesome. Yeah, just so many games, so much, too many games to mention in terms of like, multiplayer and stuff. But I think we've kind of run, through a good amount of them.
Yeah.
So I think with that, we're gonna wrap this one up. How's your Just Ice doing for Jack?
The Just Ice is kind of melting. I don't know if he's gonna want that, but
won't.
Listen, I'll reach out to him and see if he wants his Just Ice.
Okay,
but we'll see.
You do that, and then obviously, Jack, thank you so much for filling in for Larry last week. Rich, thank you very much for filling in this week. Really appreciate it. Always great.
Thanks for ending my banishment.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. Actually, you know what? It was Larry who really banished you. I was just kind of going along with it.
Is that your story?
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. Look, anybody, he's Larry. That's what he does. No. In all seriousness, no. Thank you so much for stepping in and covering for him. I'm anticipating Larry to be back next week, but like I said, we got to get the group of us on together to really just do like a round table. I think that would be kind of fun. So we got a plan for that.
Love it.
300's not that far away.
That's true.
So yeah, we're climbing up there. And for those of you out there who want to get in touch with us, you can get in touch with us on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. That covers that part of the business. Rich, one more time, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Any parting words?
Yeah, just everybody keep enjoying it. I can't wait to see what other people's responses are to what, multiplayer games they like to play that maybe we didn't mention.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to hearing that as well. And with that, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.
Be good.